Hello and welcome to the week 12 update. So much has happened since I made my last update video that I actually had to make myself a list of talking points so that I didn't forget everything I wanted to say. It's been a crazy week. We've had 2 adoptions, we've had FIV tests. Jackson and I have driven from, I almost said Costa Rica, I forgot where it was, from North Carolina to New York City, back to North Carolina over the course of like 4 days. And it's all been crazy. I don't even know where to begin, so I'm going to start at the beginning, which generally seems to be a good idea. All right, so our first adoption was Pipa, and he went to a wonderful family that just absolutely adores him. And he's been settling in really, really well with them. His new mom has been sending me pictures and updates, and he's getting along so well with their 3-year-old boy and with the 2 other cats in the house. And we genuinely could not be happier with how that's going for him. He's adjusting so well and seems so happy. And then this past Saturday, Jackson and I drove with Scrungus to bring her to her new forever home in New York. The drive took us about 10-12 hours-ish, and it actually went really well with Scrungus. She was on good behavior. She was a little vocal through part of it, but also was content to just curl up and sleep. Whenever we stopped for food or for gas, we'd let her out and cuddle her and play with her. And yeah, this was definitely a really hard adoption for both Jackson and I, because we adore Scrungus. We adore all of them, but Scrungus has a very special place in our hearts. So it was hard, but it was really wonderful to see her in her new environment and to watch how quickly she adjusted, even just in the time that we were there. If you've ever seen a cat introduced to a new location, oftentimes they'll have a fear response, which is totally understandable, and they might stay in the kennel or run out and then hide somewhere. And Scrungus didn't do any of that. She came out right away when we brought her to her new apartment, and her little legs were shaking a little bit for the first few minutes, but then she was totally fine, and she immediately was exploring and checking out the different rooms, and she was immediately comfortable with her new dad and let him hold her. That was so wonderful to see, just to see her so happy so quickly. And I mean, by the time we left, we weren't there for very long, but by the time we left, she was already playing with her new dad, and it was really cute. It was hard. It was super hard, but she's also in a really wonderful home, and we're really happy about that. On my TikTok, a lot of you guys have been asking about how Natia and the other kittens have been responding to the absence of 2 of their siblings. They're doing really, really well, all of them. So far, we haven't noticed any negative behavior or signs of stress or anxiety or anything correlated to the adoptions, which is awesome, because a huge, massive part of why we brought these kittens home in the first place was to make sure that we kept them with their mom until they were at the absolute best, healthiest, most appropriate time to be adopted. And the hope was that when it came time for 3 of them to get adopted, that they would be super well adjusted and ready to make that change. And so far that seems to be the case, which is awesome. The kittens that are still with us, so we still have 3 at the moment, have not displayed any changes in behavior, and Natia actually seems to be having more energy, which makes sense because, I mean, having 5 kittens is a ton of work, and she's been really involved with them since day 1 and is still very involved with them. Jackson and I have never known Natia when she wasn't either pregnant or a new mom. That's been the entirety of our experience with her. It's been really wonderful to watch her personality emerge as she has less and less responsibility with the kittens. And she's started playing, which has also been really exciting. This is kind of the first few times that we've seen her play. Because I mean, when you're heavily pregnant, I don't think you really want to run around and chase things. And then also, like I said, having the 5 kittens is a lot of work, and nursing is exhausting, and it takes a lot out of a mama cat. So yeah, so Natia has shown no indication of any sort of issue with the kittens being gone, and her energy's been up, which is awesome. Our biggest sort of curveball bombshell over the past couple of weeks was finding out that Natia is FIV positive. And the concern with this was that her kittens might also be positive. I know I've touched on this in my last video, but just to quickly rehash, if a kitten that's this young tests negative for FIV, they are definitively negative. But if a kitten this young tests positive, there is a not insignificant chance that it was a false positive due to the presence of antibodies from their mother's milk in their system. So if a kitten tests positive, they have to be retested at 6 months to get that definitive answer. For this reason, a lot of kittens aren't even tested until the 6-month mark. And for the 2 that we're keeping, we've decided to wait, just because if they do get a positive that ends up being a false positive, that'll just be months of us worrying that are entirely unnecessary, and regardless of their status, it's not going to change their level of care at this moment in time. Now, for the other 2 that are being adopted, so Scrungus and one other one, we decided to get them tested immediately because we wanted to be able to give their adopters the most complete picture that we could and to get as much information from them as possible. And fortunately, those 2 both tested negative. I mean, that is just wonderful, and we're really, really hoping that that will be the case for the other babies when it comes time to test them. All right, so let's start with Natia today. Natia is doing great. Like I said, her energy's up. We really missed her when we went to New York. It was only for a few days, but we haven't been away from her for more than a few hours at a time for literally since we got her in early December. And it was really cute when we came back. As soon as I opened the door, she ran right up to me. It was sweet. She's got a big week coming up because this week, Natia is going to get spayed. We were waiting to spay her until the kittens were weaned, and also we wanted to wait until a few were adopted just so there's less stressors in the environment as she heals. And yeah, so she's gonna be getting fixed sometime in the next few days, and the kittens will be neutered and spayed accordingly when they are at the prime age for doing that. So yeah, it's a routine procedure. Hopefully it will be an easy healing process for her. Probably have to keep her away from the kittens for a little bit because I just would not trust Gandalf to not rip out her stitches. Ooh, we'll see. But she's doing great. She's getting on well with the other cats. She's starting, and she's actually started to cuddle with Jackson and I a little bit more now, which is really nice. Garbanzo. I know like every video I talk about how large he is, but it's just hilarious. And I actually have stats to back it up now. When we brought the kittens into the vet the other week, they all got weighed, and all of the kittens were in the high 3-pound, low 4-pound area, except for Garbanzo, who was 5 pounds. He looks the most like an actual fully fledged cat at this point, and he's such a doll. He's actually taken over Nigel, the black cat. He's taken over Nigel's spot, one of his spots. In he has a little cat tree thing, and Garbanzo's kind of infringing on his territory, as is Gandalf in a different spot that Nigel loves. But he's managing well. He's doing a good job, Nigel's managing well. Oh, and with Garbanzo, he actually, while we were gone, Jackson's father was taking care of the cats, and Garbanzo actually managed to pull a food bowl off of a counter and shatter it. So that happened. No one was hurt, but still. Gandalf has been on her worst behavior this week, as per usual. She's resumed one of her favorite hobbies, which is shredding paper towels whenever she can. So be it. But she's doing great with the other cats. She and Panko have been getting along really well, and they're playing with each other a lot more now. So chasing each other around in a non-aggressive manner, woohoo, like bopping each other in a non-aggressive manner. That's awesome. It's been cool to watch them begin to interact more with each other, because in the beginning, Nigel and Panko, the 2 adult cats who already lived here, were very wary of the kittens, kind of like, ooh, what's this? Should we be afraid? Should we be angry? What's going on? And then, after a week or so went by, they started to be more interested, just like watching them, seeing what they were doing, and now they're actually interacting with them and playing, which is wonderful. That's what we wanted. Dave, sweet Dave. He's still our baby. He's such a baby and a mama's boy. It's really cute. He's just so darling and pure and sweet. He tries to go on the table a lot, which he's not allowed to do, but does anyway. we'll be having to train that out of him. It'll be a process, but he's just still being such a little love bug. He loves to curl up in our laps or on our mouse pads. He actually, when we were in New York, Jackson brought home one of his old mouse pads that is way larger than any mouse pad has a right to be, for the sole purpose of Dave having a larger mouse pad to grow into, which I thought was sweet. We've got one more adoption that's gonna happen in the next few days, and then I'll be able to share with you officially who's staying with us in addition to Natia. Can't wait. And yeah, I think that's it for the week 12 update. I feel like I'm missing something, but I have hit all of my talking points, which is good. Be sure to subscribe here if you want to keep up with our journey. You can also follow us on TikTok at Indoor Outdoor Cat or on Instagram at Natia the Cat. Good boyfriend, just in time for me to say goodbye. Bye, guys.